It's Devin with MVP Sport Fishing and Real Action Charters, back with you today to talk a little bit about goals. I think setting a goal is a really underrated way to become a better fisherman. It's easy for all of us to get stuck doing the same thing when we go out over and over. It doesn't matter if you're a weekend guy, it doesn't matter if you every other weekend guy, it doesn't matter if you're every day. You're going to have something where your confidence is, and you're going to want to do that the most. Eventually there's going to be a time where that just doesn't work, and I don't think anybody out there wants to be a one-trick pony. You want to cover as many bases as you can, so if there's a certain species that's not around or a certain technique that's not working, you can go to something else and have confidence in it. The only way to have confidence in it, though, is to probably fail a little bit and play around with it. I believe setting goals is a great way to hold yourself accountable. It will always be in the back of your mind, so if something's not working, you're like, okay, maybe it's time to go try this, and because I set a goal for myself to do that, you'll be more apt to do that in the times when, things aren't going right for you out there. To pick a goal, I would say pick something that you have control over. Ideally, it's not something like, I want to catch a 30-pounder this year, because the reality is, a 10-pounder eats the same thing a 30-pounder eats, and vice versa. It doesn't matter if it's 10 pounds, 15, 20, 25, 35 pounds. They're all eating the same thing, and you can catch them on anything. So that really, the control part of that is kind of out of your hands. It's honestly, catching one big fish is not a whole lot more than dumb luck. So as an example, mine last year was to become a better lake trout fisherman. In the past, I had fished for lake trout at a very, very small level. But fishing tournaments and stuff, I knew that I had to have that in my arsenal if I wanted to be competitive in tournaments around the lake. So it just happened that last year I picked a great year for it. In terms of king fishing, they were very, very slow to show up in my neck of the woods. And with that, the first couple tournaments that I fished in June, I was able to do really well fishing those tournaments, fishing 100% lake trout. That didn't come by chance. I didn't just decide that, hey, I'm going to fish lake trout, and I did it. Because that was my goal, and I made that goal in my off season. There was time when I was out there and no one else was early in the season, just because I was hunting around. I was by myself. I had nothing to lose, and I didn't expect to go out there and fill the boat with lake trout. It was just, I wanted to go out there and figure out what was going to work for me from a equipment perspective, a setup perspective. Where was the bottom clean versus where it wasn't? I had all that stuff kind of mapped out. And then eventually I kind of put it together. Like I said, it was just kind of a lucky shot there that happened to be, last year when our kingfishing was tough early. This year, my goal personally is to fish deeper in the column. Right now, rarely am I fishing anything that's, deeper than 120 feet. If that fish is below that in the column, it's probably safe for me. But there's plenty of times that I'm out deep and I'm marking fish down 150, 180, 200, 250 feet. And, I don't put in a lot of effort to go catch those fish. I'm planning to, if I have a program out there and it's not working, or what does it hurt to put one rigger down, way down deep, and try to figure out how I can get those fish down there incorporated into my program, in the top 100 feet too. So that's what I want to play around with this year. For you, it could be something like less tangles, or catch more fish after the early bite. Be better with a certain presentation, whether that's dipsies, downriggers, lead core copper, pump handles, flasher flies. There's all kinds of things you can play around with each one of them to make it potentially better. And you'll hear me say this a lot in all of my videos that I'm gonna make, is that there's not a whole lot of right and wrong in salmon fishing. You have to figure out what is going to work best for you. So in all those instances I just listed, leader length can be a factor in all of them. Maybe you're a guy who likes a short leader length on your diver. Maybe you're a guy that likes a long leader. Same thing from downrigger. From your downrigger, different conditions. Figure out what conditions you like to do, a short lead or a long lead. A good example that pops into my head is, flash or fly lead. There's a lot of, most people I would say that, 3 times the length of an 8-inch flasher, so you got 24 inches. But maybe you're on a boat that you have trouble trolling slow, or it wants to, troll at the higher end of the trolling spectrum. Maybe you're a guy that should experiment with 27 or 30-inch leaders behind 8-inch flashers, just to slow that presentation down. There's a lot of different things you can play with. Maybe even go to a new port, a new area. The concept everywhere is the same, but again, I'm going to say this a lot. The more info and the more ideas you can get from going new places, talking to new people at the cleaning station, at the boat launch, whatever it may be, the more info you can put in your head, the more you're going to be able to find what works best for you. And whatever you pick, it's not going to have immediate results. If you put in the time, though, at the end of the year, you're going to be better at it, whatever it is. So if I were you, I would pick a goal right now, and when the time is right during the season, work on it. And if you have any questions or something that you want to hear me talk about, explain a little bit, comment or send me a message. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.